When you think of a legendary duo, who's the first that comes to mind? Ho-Oh and Lugia? Mewtwo and Mew? How about Latios and Latias? These two are the roaming psychic dragon types of the Hoenn region. Today, we'll be doing a playthrough with the almighty blue Latios. It has a base stat total of 600, so it is a pseudo-legendary. It has 80 defense and HP, its worst stats, which are still quite nice, along with 90 attack, 130 special attack, and 110 special defense, and speed. We also have the ability Levitate, so we are immune to ground attacks. However, we are still weak to 5 types: Ice, Bug, Ghost, Dragon, and Dark, and in current gens, Fairy. By level up, we start with Psywave and Memento. Psywave does anywhere from 1 damage to 1.5 times my level rounded down. So at level 5, it'll do 1 to 7 damage. Plus, Memento is one of the worst moves ever made. It lowers the opponent's attack and special attack by 2 stages, but in return kills the user. So I'll never use that move. Other than that, we get access to Dragon Breath, Luster Purge, which is the signature move of the Eon trio. It is just a weaker version of Psychic with less power points. And then we get Psychic, Recover, and Dragon Dance. Via TMs, some notable ones we can get include Dragon Claw, Water Pulse, Hidden Power, Thunderbolt, Earthquake, Return, Shadow Ball, Shockwave, Aerial Ace, and Steel Wing. With great stats and an expansive move pool, can Latios get a top tier time on the Emerald leaderboard? Let's find out. Upon starting the run, my Latios has the Rash nature, so plus special attack and minus special defense, and our hidden power today is Ice, so I don't have to go to the abandoned ship to get the Ice Beam TM, so I will save some time in that department. Anyway, after I defeat the first rival with Psywave, I get my pokeballs and proceed west to Petalburg City. Oh shit. Psywave isn't gonna do anything to Poochyena, and we cannot get Struggle as Memento just kills Latios, so I have to grind on wild Pokemon with Psywave until I get a move that can damage Poochyena, which is Dragon Breath. What level is it again? 20? Man, I kinda wish this was Weedle right now. Let's do this shit. Well, that didn't take too long. I defeated the trainers on Route 102, helped Wally catch a Pokemon, and enter Route 104. I defeat this rich trainer here and go through Petalburg Woods. While going through, I get this Paralyze heal, defeat the Aqua Grunt and this Ether right here, and then once I'm out of the woods, I finally make it to Rustboro City, defeat Roxanne's gym trainers, and then take her on. She leads with Geodude, which goes down to 1 Dragon Breath, as does her next Geodude. The final Nose Pass somehow lives a Dragon Breath like it always seems to do, like it always lives an attack. And then once the Oranberry is gone, it is still in range for the knockout, and I achieve the knockout and get the Stone Badge with a time of 1 hour, 28 minutes, and 51 seconds. Yeah, I don't think we're gonna get that God tier time in Emerald after all. Once I leave the gym, I see Team Aqua running away, so I chase after him to the Rustboro Tunnel, where I take care of him, rescue Pico, and then in return for getting the Devon goods back, the Devon Corps president gives me the Pokenav, and then I head to the Pokemart to buy my usual repels, potions, stuff like that. Also, my rival wants to fight me real quick. This fight is optional, but I do need the experience, so I just take care of it really quick. And then I head back to Bryony's cottage, and he sets sail off to Dewford Town. But before I can fight the gym leader here, I enter the Granite Cave, get this escape rope, forget to catch a strength user again, and at the end of the cave, I give the letter to Steven Stone, and in return, I get the TM for Steel Wing. Once he's gone, I use the free escape rope to get out of the cave, kinda like how you can do that in the Orberg Mine in Pokemon Pearl and Platinum. I take on the second gym leader, Brawly. He starts off with Machop. Psywave will not deal super effective damage despite being a psychic move, so Dragon Breath will take it out just fine. The next Meditite only has Focus Punch, so it and the Makuhita holding a Citrus Berry right afterwards is also not a problem. Although that may just because I'm a higher level, but come on, I had to grind to level 20 before the first trainer in the game. I can't really control this. With 2 badges under my belt, I set sail to Route 108, enter Slateport City to deliver the plans to Captain Stern. Team Aqua attacks us, Archie calls them simps, and they leave. Since it's been a while, I heal at the center while I'm here, and then I take on the 2 Pokefans. In Emerald, I consider them a mini-boss, since they each have a Plusle and a Minun holding an Oran Berry, and if you don't knock them out quickly, they will Thunder Wave your ass. The next thing I like to do while here is to get the Trick House Rare Candy, but while doing it, I realized I left Cut back in Rustboro like an idiot. Oops, I'll just get that later, so let's just do Rival 2. He starts with Wingull, which is not a problem thanks to Dragon Breath, as is the Lombre and the Combustion. You know, why did I need to bring this fight up in the first place, you may ask? Well, you see, with other Pokemon, he can be quite hard. Go watch my previous Emerald runs if you want to see how bad this fight can really be. Once I arrive at Mauville City, I get Rock Smash, heal at the center, get the Mach Bike, take out Wally, defeat all the trainers in the surrounding areas of Mauville, since the 3rd gym leader, Wattson, is one of the hardest gym leaders in the game, and while training, I actually get some bad news. I was mentally fried when doing this run, so I was spamming A too long, and I teach Refresh over Dragon Breath, which was my key to defeating Wattson. And since I was nearly an hour 50 minutes into the run, I decided to just roll with it. I'm sorry everyone, I'm just human after all, it is what it is. So let's just skip the rest of this training montage, teach Fury Cutter with the Move Tutor and Verdendurf just to have an extra move just in case since I deleted my other one, and then I take on the Electric Gym Leader, Wattson. He starts off with Voltorb. I start the fight by setting up a Fury Cutter, and I hope that the Fury Cutter can get powerful enough to deal great damage to Magneton, and once the Magneton comes out it does over half damage. I do knock it out in time, and then the final Manectric was going to go down to Fury Cutter, but I get paralyzed and my chain breaks, and I end up losing the battle and get my first reset since the Poochyena trainer. On the second attempt, things don't really go much better as Magneton takes me out. On attempt number 3, I don't know how, but Electrike gets me at so low of HP I die to the Magneton. I'll just skip ahead a few attempts. While attempting this fight, I realized I didn't pick up a Cherry Berry, so I go get the nearest one I could, which was back at Route 104. There were Cherry Berries on Route 103, but I didn't have Cut, so I decided to get Cut while I was here too so I can get the Trick House Candy finally. On the first attempt at Wattson with the Cherry Berry, I change strategies and decide to rely on Psywave, which will deal anywhere from 1 to 45 HP at this point, and it also ignores type resistances, except immunities to Dark apparently. And with this strategy, I win Wattson on the first try and I finally defeat him. Phew, I haven't done an Emerald run in several months, and this fight is just as hard as I remember it to be. Now let's begin the long track through the routes, over the mountains, in the caves, get secret power in front of a tree, and then go through the ash, and eventually get to Meteor Falls, where I see the first of many clashes with Team Magma and Team Aqua, and then I end up back at Rustboro City, where I enter the tunnel, and then I break this rock right here for the couple, and then he gives me the HM for strength, and then eventually I get back to Mount Chimney to use the lift car. Can we see the 1 in 64 hiker? Nope, not today, but who we can look for today is Maxie. Despite him leading with a Dark-type Pokemon, Mightyena, the move Secret Power is able to take care of it, and then the following Zubat is not worth mentioning. The final Camerupt did worry me slightly since my health was running a bit low, but with perseverance, I am able to remain victorious. With Team Aqua and Team Magma chased off for now, I go down the mountainside and enter Lava Ridge Town, where I use the center and take on the local gym leader, the one who caused me a lot of trouble in my last Pokemon World Tournament stream, Flannery. In this game, however, she is way better to deal with. Her first Numal is hit with secret power, but it lives in the red and is thankfully paralyzed, so it is eventually dealt with. Believe it or not, the same thing happens to the Slugma and the Camerupt right after. Dang, I'm getting lucky today. Finally is Torkoal. I use a secret power, it gets paralyzed, and then Torkoal uses Attract. I couldn't play as a female Pokemon since Latios are only male. I am then constantly immobilized by Love, and I lose my first attempt against Flannery. On attempt number 2, I make it back to Torkoal, where this time I get paralyzed with Body Slam. I could still win this. I paralyzed the Torkoal with my own secret power, but nope, I guess this was just too much luck. Finally, attempt number 3, I think of a new strategy. I teach Shockwave to Latios so I have a special attack for Torkoal since I don't have Dragon Breath anymore like an idiot. Once I get back to Torkoal, one Shockwave deals over half damage, and despite Flannery using a potion, I'm quickly able to knock it out, learn Luster Purge over Shockwave, and I finally obtain the Heat Badge. We can now go straight back to Norman's gym, but before we can fight him, I get the Route 111 Desert Rare Candy, and I head down to Slateport City to take the boat. But before I get on the boat, I buy one copy of Hidden Power, and today's Vitamin of the Day is Calcium. Although since I did so much training in the early routes, I have no room to use any of the calcium, so I basically wasted a bunch of money. I need that money back, so let's take on Norman for that sweet old battle money. And the badge too, I guess. On his first Spinda, 2 secret powers does the job, as well as on the Vigoroth. When the Slacking comes out, I use my Luster Purge, and then Slacking puts me asleep with Yawn, and once I eventually wake up, thanks to Truant, I use secret power to take it out, but then last minute Norman uses a potion to heal back up, and I get knocked out. I really should have used an Aetheron Luster Purge. I have no idea why I didn't do that, but once the Slacking is knocked out, I'm able to use my remaining secret powers on Linoon, and I defeat Norman on the second try. Not too bad considering how difficult Norman can be for some Pokemon. After I get the Balance Badge, Wally's father gives me Surf, which I can teach to Zigzagoon, and then I get the rare candies on Route 107 and Route 110. There is also a very easy one in Petalburg, but I forgot to pick it up like an idiot. Once those candies are obtained, I do one little side quest for Wattson, where I enter New Mauville and shut off the generator. This is pretty quick to do, and once I do it, Wattson gives me the TM for Thunderbolt, so I don't need to buy it at the game corner like in Leaf Green or Crystal. I'll need this move to deal with the 8th gym leader Juan, and eventually the champion Wallace. I then go through the jungle-filled Route 119, enter the Weather Institute, use the heal bed, chase off Team Aqua, get a useless cast form, use the bed again, and then I fight my rival one last time. First up is his Pelipper, which loves to spam Protect all the time. But slowly but surely, despite getting confused with Supersonic, I take out the Pelipper. Once Combustion comes out, Luster Purge does super effective damage for the one hit, and then Luster Purge makes great work of the Lombre. And that's the last we'll see of Brendan. After the fight, I teach Hidden Power Ice over Attract, get the rare candy on Route 120 right here, run away from Kecleon like a bitch, and take on the flying gym leader, Winona. If you choose Hidden Power Ice as your hidden power, not only you get easy help with Drake and the Elite Four, but also this fight. With the exception of Skarmory and the Protect spamming Pelipper, all of her Pokemon are either 2 times or 4 times weak to Ice, so this move will just make extremely great work of all her bird Pokemon, and I make sure to leave no evidence behind. With certainly nothing noteworthy happening at the gym, wink wink, I go through Route 120, get the second rare candy on the route, enter Route 121 to get the Persim Berries and Chesto Berries just in case I need them, get Lily Cove City on the fly map, and then I get the rare candy on Route 123 south of Mount Pyre, and then I enter Mount Pyre. But before I head to Team Aqua at the summit, I have to go to the top floor of the interior, which definitely has way more trainers in it than in Sapphire when I was up here with Metagross. but the prize here is still the same, the TM for Shadow Ball. This move will be our way to deal with Tate and Liza. You may think, why not just use Surf, since Surf can hit both opponents in a double battle? Well, let me tell you something. In Pokemon games, when you use a move that hits both opponents in battle, the base power gets cut in half for both of them. So Surf, instead of being a 95 base power move on both opponents, it is a 47 base power move on both of them. So one Shadow Ball will be better. Once I chase off Team Aqua and get the Magma emblem, I get the rare candy right nearby and I head to the Magma hideout in the Jagged Pass. It was then I realized I didn't catch a strength user in Granite Cave like a dumbass. So I just catch a Torkoal someone from Team Magma was letting wander around, take out the Magma grunts one by one, steal their rare candy and PP Max, and then I have a quick word with their leader, Maxie, again. His team is the same as before on the top of Mount Chimney, but his Zubat is a Crobat. Anyway, on Mighty Yenna, I use Hidden Power Ice to deal half damage, and it uses Scary Face to cut my speed, so I no longer outspeed the Crobat. But since I have the move Psychic, which I taught over Lust or Purge via level up, what was even the threat here? I escape rope out of the mountain, watch Archie steal the submarine back in Slateport, and I go to the Aqua hideout to chase down Archie, but I'm stopped by the Aqua admin Matt, so I take him on in battle, and by the time I'm finished, the submarine swims away. So I decide for now to just head to Moss Deep City, catch a Tentacool for Dive and Waterfall later, and then on the island, I go to the gym to take on the two gym leaders, Tate and Liza. These two are much harder in Emerald than Sapphire since they each have two Pokemon. They both lead with Xatu and Claydol. The Claydol loves to spam Earthquakes and Xatu is a flying type, but my Latios has Levitate, so that's not a big deal. The Xatu usually just sets up Calm Mind or use Confuse Ray. I also for a little bit forget to switch to my Double Battle overlay, so only Liza's Pokemon are visible. Sorry about that. Anyway, as my HM users keep getting knocked out, I try to knock out everything with Shadow Ball, but I end up running out of them, so I start spamming Hidden Power instead, which only does neutral damage to rock types. Okay, there's the overlay, but never mind that. Latios is just not able to do it without the power points and Shadow Ball restored by an Ether, so I end up losing the battle, and then on the next attempt after I use an Ether on Shadow Ball, I have enough of them at my disposal and I can defeat Tate and Liza, which is always great to see. With Tate and Liza defeated, I get access to one of the best moves in Gen 3, Calm Mind. This boosts special attack and special defense by one stage, and this will for sure help out in the late game. Before I can chase down Team Aqua, Team Magma takes over the space station, but as I'm defeating them, I begin having quite terrible luck with confusion as I keep hitting myself. I was also not paying attention, and I end up getting roared out of battle, and I continue fighting with Cast Form. When I saw this, I thought Latios fainted, so I reset the game and, where did I last save? Once I get back to the space station, Steven asks me for help to take out Maxie and Tabitha in a multi-battle. While I let Steven do his own thing with Matang, I begin by setting up some Calm Minds. Once I get one Calm Mind, I decide to stop setting up and begin the Thunderbolt sweep. That obviously has to stop once I get to Camerupt since they're immune to electric, so I just go after the Golbat while I hope the Matang takes out the Camerupt. Once I get to the point where only Camerupt is left, I start by using Hidden Power on it, and after a couple of attacks, I'm able to defeat Team Magma for good. However, we still have Team Aqua to chase down. I get Dive from Steven Stone in his house, teach it to Tentacool, head to the seafloor cavern, where at the very end of the cave I see Kyogre, and as I head towards it, Archie stops me and takes me on in battle for the first time. His team is the same as Maxie, just swap the camera up for Sharpedo. You know, this is why I choose to play Sapphire instead of Ruby when I do the original Hoenn games, since in Emerald, Archie doesn't get represented too much. Besides, Archie's kinda easier since his Sharpedo has bad defensive stats and he has no water moves. Plus if it did, it has much worse special attack than attack, so it mostly just sticks to the normal moves. After that battle, Kyogre wakes up, realizes Groudon still exists, so they both fight each other, and then the weather goes completely haywire. So... I return balance to the world and take on the final gym leader, Juan. I have a problem with not using elixirs in this run. I don't know what it is, I just don't have enough Thunderbolts for everything. So for Kingdra, I use a couple Calm Minds and use Hidden Power to remove it. I then use my remaining Thunderbolts for Celio and Crawdaunt. On Wishcash, it keeps using Amnesia, and Juan keeps using Full Restores, so I end up running out of moves to hit it with, and I get another reset. Okay, this is getting quite stupid. On the second attempt with more Hidden Power and Thunderbolt to spare, I complete the gym challenge with a time of 3 hours, 19 minutes, and 53 seconds. You know, those mistakes I made with my PP don't really matter too much once you remember half of that time was the first gym leader. Anyway, let's not dwell on the ancient past of 15 to 20 minutes ago if you include the ads, and then I go to Victory Road, where I go head to head with the other rival, Wally. Although his team is more impressive than Brendan's team ever will be, his team is still pathetic due to their low levels and generally bad moveset. You can't use the excuse of me being over-leveled, I'm only 4 levels higher than his ace. And just look at his Pokemon's movesets, they are not good at all. But it is what it is. I go through Victory Road, fight the mandatory trainers along the way, and I arrive at the Pokemon League. I use the center, buy some Full Restores, and before I face the final 5 trainers, I get some more rare candies to make sure I can get to level 65 for Wallace, which is the minimum level I need. I get the rare candies on Route 114, 119 with the Acrobike, and then there's one on an island south of Moss Deep City. And then after this, my rare candy total hits 12, and I'm level 52, so I'm all good to go. Let's go do the final 5 trainers. Let's do this shit. On Sydney, I start by using Calm Mind on Mightyena, but that turned out not to be a good idea, as his Mightyena sets up Sand Attack on me and eventually uses Roar. On the next try, I use Thunderbolt right away for the 2-hit, and then on the Shiftry, it only has extra Sensory to hit me for resisted damage, so I set up Calm Mind while it uses Double Team, and once I let Confusion wear off, I use Hidden Power on Shiftry and Cacturn for the 1-hit, and then Thunderbolt on Crawdaunt and Absol for the win. On Phoebe, Dusknoir starts off with a turn 1 Protect, which is what it likes to do, so I purposefully use Calm Mind here twice. Unfortunately, I get confused with Confuse Ray, hit myself, get hit with a Curse, so that's an instant reset. On the second try, I take out the Dusclops after 1 Calm Mind, and once I'm on the Banette, I use 1 more Calm Mind, and then I use Thunderbolt to take out the rest of her team. Although her second Dusclops does live a Thunderbolt, I still get the victory, so who cares. On Glacia, half her team is the water type, so on Celio I use Calm Mind as Celio sets up Hail. Once I'm at +2, I begin the sweep with Thunderbolt. On the Glalie, despite having 100 in almost everything, it still goes down in 1 hit. And sadly, the second, stronger Glalie survives a Thunderbolt, but it really can't do that much to me. And then on Walrein, 1 Thunderbolt easily gets rid of it and I can move on. On Drake, I'll just say this. 1 Calm Mind plus Hidden Power equals massive, massive, massive stonks. Okay, jokes aside, we got one more fight between us and victory, and that is Wallace. I used all the rare candies I had at this point to get to level 67, 2 more than I needed, and then on Wailord, as I set up Calm Mind to take less damage from Wailord's special moves such as Blizzard, its special attacks will do so little damage, the enemy AI knows that and starts spamming Double Edge, but I have Recover to keep my health high. and then once I get to +4 in special attack and special defense, Thunderbolt delivers the one-hit knockout to Wailord, Tentacruel, Milotic, Gyarados, and the Ludicolo. However, since his final Wish Cache is immune to Thunderbolt, I use Hidden Power on that, and then when that thing is defeated, Latios beats Pokemon Emerald with a time of 3 hours, 34 minutes, and 46 seconds, with 15 resets at level 67, and a game time at the Hall of Fame of 9 hours and 34 minutes, which is definitely quite high for an Emerald time, especially by a Legendary. If Latios had a better starting moveset, especially one that didn't have a move that is basically a Pokemon battle-styled Kamikaze, it would have gotten a much better time, as it would have been able to set up Struggle. But with Memento, I just couldn't struggle at all. That grind was one of the worst grinds I've ever done, but still not as bad as Shedinja before Brock. Although we didn't get last place in Emerald, since we have done Lilip before, you know a Pokemon is bad when Aggron did better than it, in a region with too much water. Well, I hope y'all enjoyed this. This is the part where I tell you that if you're a member or a patron on Patreon, you'll see the second round of Emerald, where Latios takes on the bonus Steven Stone battle in Meteor Falls. If you want to see that part, consider being a member or patron for as low as $2.99 a month. If not, please like, comment, subscribe, and follow my socials, and that'll make me just as happy to know you all like my content. For non-supporters, I will see you all in the next speedrun.